So let's talk about hyper arousal. So hyper, the up response, and the fight flight response, right? So hyper arousal, fight flight response. When you're in hyper arousal, you're in a heightened state of energy. You're in a heightened state of activation. Your nervous system, this involuntary nervous system, is on high alert from some trigger and perceived threat. It doesn't matter if it's a real threat or not. It's something you perceive. When you're in hyper arousal and this fight flight, when you're up there, you'll likely be experiencing one or more of the following. So here's how you know if you go into this state, usually when you're triggered. So there's hypervigilance. You'll notice that this is basically a state of you're just highly alert and you're continually assessing threats around you. And so you're so agitated, you're worried, if you're jealous of your partner, you're stalking them you're setting up fake accounts on social media and you're stalking them on social media. You're going down those terrible rabbit holes of who's liking their stuff and who they're liking. And oh my God, you are on high alert. Another symptom is that your emotions feel like they're in hyperdrive. There's generally a lot of anger, rage, hostility, lashing out. There's fear. There's agitation, there's anxiety or panic. Okay. Your emotions are just in hyperdrive. There's also something we call emotional flooding, which tends to happen up here. And that is that there's an emotional overwhelm. So that might be when you cry uncontrollably or rage uncontrollably. There's like an emotional flood. Racing thoughts are often also part of hyper arousal or that fight flight response. You might have some hyperactivity, inability to relax, there's some restlessness, sleeplessness. Other common symptoms are chronic pain, tense or rigid muscles, nightmares go in here, flashbacks go in here. A flashback is when you sort of see when you get triggered and you see something from your past. This could be seeing an abuser's face. All of a sudden, you're flashing back to a time when you were held against your will or something else. We call those flashbacks. If you're relating to that when you get triggered, it's like, wow, that's where I go when I'm triggered. Then here are some things you could do for the fight flight response. So straw breathing is one of my favorites. When you're in a fight or flight mode, again, your sympathetic nervous system is turned on and you want to turn on your parasympathetic nervous system. That's what your sympathetic nervous system was what gets you so agitated like that, the fight or flight, the running, the doing. And your parasympathetic is that rest, digest, calm down nervous system so you kind of want that to I always think of it as your sympathetic nervous system is like a fire and your parasympathetic nervous system is like the water that cools that down. It's super simple. It's a quick way to do this is straw breathing. So what you want to do is get yourself a straw. I recommend a metal one. If you are watching me on YouTube, you will see. So get yourself a straw, but it can be disposable or not. And you can carry it though in your bag or put it in your glove compartment. It's nice to have a few around so they're easy to grab. And then set a timer for 2 minutes or just if you can't set a timer, then just do this. What you want to do is take a long, slow, deep breath in through your nose, in through your nose as long and slow as you can. And then what you want to do is exhale through the straw. It's through your mouth, through the straw, as slowly as you can. And why we love the straw, if you don't have a straw, you can just do this. But the straw makes you exhale even slower. It's the slow exhale that's the money. That is what tells your parasympathetic nervous system that it can turn on. It turns on your vagus nerve. It's all good. This is where your vagus nerve is really like your body's Valium. You start releasing, vasopressin and other wonderful calming neurotransmitters, and you really start to calm. And you want to repeat the process for 2 minutes. The other thing I would recommend, and second tool I would recommend, is to meditate daily for 15 minutes. This is a preventative tool, and obviously not something you can do in the moment, but getting yourself to start meditating is huge. When it comes to managing your emotions, there's nothing like meditation. I do a lot on meditation. I have a meditation starter kit, and I do have a meditation program, Learn to Meditate for 15 minutes in 15 days. And you can download that. I think it's $11.11 because we were cute with the pricing. Just start meditating. Make that an important part of your life. And then a third tool is cognitive reframing. Because when you're in fight or flight mode, your mind is racing. And a tool called cognitive reframing can help slow you down and get you back in charge of your thoughts. At its most basic level, cognitive reframing helps you look at a situation, a person, a thought, or a feeling from a different perspective. It's a strategy that helps you really open your mindset to a new point of view, a new angle of what's happening so you can think differently about it. And this is crucial because what do I say all the time? You feel the way you think. So changing your thinking about something will change how you feel about it. And that's how you go from feeling shitty to feeling at peace about something so you can stop letting it bother you and stop thinking about it. My favorite reframe is life is happening for you, not to you. When you start thinking that way about things, it feels different. That's a very quick example of a cognitive reframe. Thinking of problems as challenges is another cognitive reframe. Even if you don't relate to hyperarousal, cognitive reframing will help you no matter what in life. Now let's talk about hypoarousal and that freeze, fawn, fold, submit response, okay? One of the things that happens if a gazelle is running from a tiger or a lioness and gets caught is that if you ever see that, it's sort of horrifying to watch, but she will sort of lay there. At a certain point, she stops fighting. She doesn't fight. Once she knows she's caught, the lioness will actually often start, if it hasn't broken her neck yet, will often start eating her alive. And the gazelle just sort of sits there and you're going, what on earth is going on? And that is because, Mother Nature, God, the universe, evolution, I don't care what you believe in, has put this thing in place that when we are in positions where we feel like we cannot escape and the reality is too terrifying for our brains to handle, we will go into this submit response, this total freeze and submit. And our brain will flood in this calmness. And so that we can get through it. And that is something that a lot of rape victims I've worked with have talked about this. And of course, there's huge shame that will go along with this. Why didn't I fight? Why didn't I yell? Well, this is an automatic response that happens to help you survive. The freeze response is, again, also known as this hypoarousal state, not hyper, that goes up, right? Hypo goes down. If you were to think of the fight or flight response as maybe overactivation, that fight or flight, the hyperarousal is kind of overactivation, then the hypoarousal, this fawn, fold, submit, freeze, is all about underreacting. So this is where you have too little arousal. You don't have enough arousal because of an overloaded parasympathetic nervous system. So remember I said that parasympathetic is like the cooling or the calming. It's too calm. It's gone too much. If you go into hypoarousal or freeze response, the symptoms are things like feeling zoned out, brain fog or feeling spacey, depression, or really what we call a flat affect, where it seems like, you're almost talking like a robot. You don't, there's no emotion in your voice. You might notice emotional numbness, like you're just numb, lethargy or oversleeping, just really a major shutdown mode, exhaustion, chronic fatigue, disorientation, emptiness, dissociation. We say dissociation, by the way, not disassociation. Those are two different things. Disconnection, headaches, nausea, feelings of shame and hopelessness, being passive and very compliant. Okay. So you can see how different this is from the hyperarousal state. And by the way, sometimes people get into the hyperarousal state and get so overwhelmed, right, that they get into a hypoarousal state afterwards. Interesting. Or sometimes people who are always react with hypoarousal get to a place where that is even too much, and then they jump into a hyperarousal state. Not commonly, but occasionally. Here are some tips for that state. okay, for that. And again, even if you're hyper arousal, I would like you to try these and see if they work for you. So the first one is what we call fake it till you make it. We say that a lot in the 12 steps. And, for people in recovery listening, they'll recognize it, fake it till you make it. Since our nervous systems often take cues from each other, having a motto of fake it till you make it can actually be useful. This means that you can physically make some simple changes that will help shift that freeze response, and it'll help shift your mood, your physiology. So changing your physiology is one of the quickest ways to help yourself shift out of that freeze response. And I'm going to list some suggestions here from, the most exertion to the least. All are beneficial, although I'd like you to make it a goal to create a habit of moving your body more in general. If hypoarousal is an issue for you, if you related when I said numbness, all this, I want you to really make it a point to be exercising every day. I don't care if it's going for a walk. I don't care what it is, but you have to be exercising more than again, both states, it's very helpful to exercise. For the hyperarousal, it's helpful because it burns off stress hormone. For hypo, it just helps because this sort of fake it till you make it, getting into a different exertion is really healthy for you. So the highest exertion would be getting your heart rate up, go to the gym, going for a run, going for a strenuous walk, playing a sport, jumping rope for a minute or two, riding a bike. Then as we come down a notch, going just for a walk, a brisk walk, hopefully, or a walk around your home. Down below that would be getting up and moving within your home, finding reasons to stand and move, just finding reasons to stand and move instead of being efficient with your energy, be inefficient with your energy. And then getting even lower in the exertion. If the Superman pose is really important, where you stand with your feet shoulder width apart. You raise your chest while relaxing and lowering your shoulders. So they should not be scrunched up when you raise your chest. You want to tilt your head back just slightly and raise your face to the sky or ceiling. And put your hands on your hips, still keeping those shoulders relaxed. The shoulders relaxed is very important. Chest up, shoulders relaxed, hand on your hips, feet shoulder width apart. And then simply take in some deep breaths through your nose and exhaling as slowly as possible through your mouth. And then if you're looking for the lowest exertion, you do not feel like you can get off the couch, do the Superman pose modified for a seated position. Just do all the things I said except standing up. Just do them all. Try to at least move your legs apart, try to sit up straight for a moment, shoulders relaxed, hand on hips, head tilted slightly, not all the way back, and do the Superman pose and take some breaths. Okay. That's, so I took you from the highest exertion to the lowest, something to do. Second tip is to breathe with a mantra. So I want you to have a mantra at the ready for when you're feeling, paralyzed or stuck, just right there. It's a great way to get moving again. You can choose anything as your mantra as long it just has to satisfy 2 guidelines. Okay, 2. It needs to be uplifting in some way, and it also needs to be something you can believe. Okay, that's your guidelines. Everything is figure outable if you can do that. Right? It's uplifting and it's something you can believe. I've always found a way before, and I'll find a way again. Right this moment, I'm safe and I'm okay. I know right this moment, I might be freaking out or something else, but right this moment, I'm safe and okay. Another one could be something like, I can do anything I set my mind to. See all those? Those are all mantras you could have in the moment. And then now that you have one, just try to have the same one over and over that you can again believe and is uplifting. You want to couple that with some easy breathing. And in this case, what I want you to do is place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. You can't see me on YouTube or whatever, but one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. And you're going to breathe and you're going to ensure that only the hand on your belly moves. And there's no movement in your chest. I know. So as you take in a long, slow breath, you want to feel your stomach expand and the hand that's on your stomach rise. And as you exhale slowly, you're going to feel your stomach contract and the hand on your stomach should come in. The hand on your chest should not move at all for either the inhale or the exhale. And you do that and you recite your mantra silently along with your breathing. You can even, say something out loud each way. As you breathe in, you can say something, and as you breathe out, you can say something. I think it's best to do it silently, but if it's going to help you more to do it out loud, do it out loud. Then that's great. And then the third tip, and again, I think everyone should try them, are grounding exercises. When you're in hyper or hypoarousal states, your brain has been hijacked. That's really what to know. So grounding exercises are quick exercises that you do to bring yourself into the present moment, where you're okay and safe. And grounding exercises are simple to use. They take just a minute or maybe or two and are highly, highly effective. So because I love you, I have a list of 5 from the research, of course, that you can download if you've never downloaded them before and use one or all or whatever. Try them all, see if you like them.